like to present the USL Regular Season Championship to FC Cincinnati. Congratulations to the players, the staff, and most importantly, the fans on a record-breaking season. Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for your regular season champions, FC Cincinnati.
In a foot race, Cincinnati plays this across. Vasquez with the finish. Brandon Vasquez gives Cincinnati the 2-1 lead. A late breakdown by Red Bull.
Well, Dylan Nealis gets beaten, and nobody covers the streaking run. Unbelievable.
L'Oreal got under that. Oh! What a goal for FC Cincinnati! You couldn't dream that any better. Goal of the tournament. Maybe the history of the tournament. Alvaro Barreal makes it 2-0.
Acosta beats one man one-on-one and another. This is still Lucho Acosta continuing on. Acosta! Oh my goodness! A play worthy of a perfect 10 by Cincinnati's number 10.
Unbelievable. He's like a kid in a playground. He just picked the ball up and said, okay, you know what? I'm going to pick it up at the halfway line and I'm going to go all the way on my own. And you're thinking to yourself, release the ball now, release the ball now. He decides, no, I'm not having that. I'm going to have the goal instead. And I'm probably going to get the goal of the season as well.
Valerian looks to deliver, flick towards the far post, and it's off the line! What a save! That's a match-winning save.
He thinks that he's found the equalizer yet again, but Celentano just stays big and makes a massive save.
They have done it. Cincinnati, your 2023 Supporters Shield winners. A first trophy in their MLS era, and now they celebrate. Top of the Supporters Shield race since May. They never look back. And now a piece of silver.
The Flying Lion says,
boys, hell is real.
2023 Supporter Shield champs.
So glad that I can be back with people who know that it's a Flying Lion.
It shows how much we all love this club.
Yeah, just a fan of the sport, you know.
It's definitely tougher to be in a cash player than it is a pro.
In this club, you don't play just for the club. You play for the ball.
Swap, car of the week, trivia question of the week. Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of the Flying Lion podcast. We're coming to you live on Chatterbox right now. We thank you guys for listening to our intro that Sam cooked up for us. A lot of memories there, Sam. I loved hearing all of that and more of that to come because FC Cincinnati keeps it rolling. Another big week, a big win out in LA. Sam, how we feeling?
Feeling good. Yeah, I cooked up the intro today. Thought we'd do something new, since we're going live for the first time on Chatterbox. So thanks for, everybody for joining live and those who will join live here later on in the show. But yeah, feeling good. Obviously FC Cincinnati is still in the Supporter Shield run, and we're going to keep it going for, the next 3 games here, Ryan.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're winding to the end of the season now, and every game matters just to see the boys go out and get the win. Bottom line, in LA, we'll talk about this game. We got a trivia question for you guys middle of the episode, and then second half we'll do our jersey swaps, our cards of the week. FC Cincinnati 2 cooked up a win as well, so that'll be fun to talk about. And then we're going to preview a Orlando matchup that we have this coming weekend that got pushed back actually to Sunday from Saturday. So that'll be a good one that we'll preview. But like I said, match day out in LA, a 3-2 win. That makes us now 18-4-9 overall. Sam, it was our second ever meeting against the LA Galaxy, but the first time we had ever played in LA. What were your initial thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think, talking to Tommy G a couple weeks ago, this was, one he was looking forward to. And so we're, I'm sure FC Cincinnati fans, right? Because it's the first time we've ever been there. They're the 2024 MLS Cup winners. Obviously, coming into this one, their form hasn't been too good. But I thought that the stat that popped out to me, Ryan, in the previews was that FC Cincinnati could once again reach another milestone, reaching 10 plus road wins in back-to-back seasons, something only 6 MLS clubs have done since 2000. So we were looking to stay hot against the West.
It was pretty impressive to see that stat. Like, not going to lie, 10 road wins in back-to-back seasons. We talked about, 55, now 56 wins over a 3-year period as well. I mean, this club's just setting records, right and left, which makes our job easier, and covering the team and all these episodes fun, honestly.
Makes it more entertaining, yeah.
Yeah, but if we now look at the West, against the West this season, Sam, 4-0-1. And I think last year we were 3-0 out west. So impressive. Again, it kind of goes against some of the other Cincinnati teams historically, the Bengals and the Reds. But FCC don't care. I love to kind of see the pregame conference that Pat Noonan said. Someone asked him, what's different? Why are your teams so good on the road? But it's the preparation. It's getting these guys ready to go. And there's something to that. Obviously, you get another one in this game too. But lineup wise, Sam, we had a little bit of some rotation. What'd you see?
Yeah, so obviously, like you said, a little bit of rotation, not too much. But hey, if you were listening to our last episode, I mean, we got this one on the head as far as lineup wise. Giddy gets first FC Cincinnati start, gives Anunga a break there. And then you see Miazga and Roman still out. Miazga took the knock, last game. So we were trying to figure out, who's going to slot in there. And Hagelin actually is our, middle center back with Miles playing on the right side. And then you see a little bit of rotation as well that we kind of called with Marzouk, taking a sub appearance later on in the game, but Ender gets the starting spot there. Yeah, I mean, not too bad.
I called it. I just want to say I wanted Giddy there. I knew that, Anunga had a knock from the last match, but it was good to see him, a young player, out playing it, on a big stage, even though LA, just got eliminated from the playoffs. But it's still a big moment for him. 21 years old, coming into, his second, appearance for the club and starting. That's a big role. And a team that's looking to go win a trophy. I mean, that's huge confidence and praise, I guess, for Pat Noonan for a young player. But Sam, I wanted to ask you your thoughts. You touched on Hagelin being in the middle. Any thoughts on him versus Robinson being that anchor? I think that was the only positional little swap that we might have had differently.
No, I think we've seen this before, right? And it's about pace. Miles on the outside helps a guy like Ender or even, Orishano, depending on, if they play on either side, guys that like to go up the sideline there. Miles is able to track back and help the defense on the right side or left side there, whereas Hagelin doesn't have the pace like he used to, right? So he's more of your guy that's going to play and get those head balls cleared out in the middle.
Yeah, no, that's a good shout. I think also the way that the LA Galaxy play, we saw it in this match. Peck and Paintsel were just running down the lines against us. I had called it, in our last episode, was that's where they're going to capitalize. And so seeing that we went with speed on the width with Orishano and Ender, maybe a little bit more attacking, from an FC Cincinnati fan standpoint, everyone's like, man, this is a dream lineup. We finally get to see some of the big guns in the offense all together. So that was kind of fun. But on the flip side of that, the questions were, what would it look like on defense? Would those guys get back? Would Robinson have to cover more ground? So I think that's a really good shout, especially with putting him on the width compared to inside. And they did good enough. Let's just say that, we secured the win, but there was times where we got pressed in that. So we'll kind of touch on that. But Sam, a little bit of a weird start to this one. If we go and look at the pitch out at LA Galaxy, apparently there was some dew on the grass, but then they started to water the pitch for like 5 to 10 minutes prior to. So it looked like it was like playing in a monsoon, or after a monsoon, I should say. They were playing the balls and it was just slow. It like wouldn't get to the player. And, again, shout out to all those who stayed up for this one. A 10:30 start, we haven't had one of those in a while. But yeah, what were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, obviously the ball was playing a little bit slower than, it usually would. That was the first thing. You're kind of seeing honestly a little bit of puddles like glistening, from the broadcast there. But yeah, luckily, it's LA, right? So it's going to dry up, the first 10, 15 minutes, which is good. It's fine. And I mean, we had a goal in the first 10 minutes, so not too bad either.
Didn't have to wait too long. I was wondering if we would settle into the match. What does it look like playing out west, on the road, whatever.
Got to score early.
Yeah, we got to score early. We talked about it for several of these matches now. And Ender gets the goal in the 10th minute, his first one for FC Cincinnati. It comes actually off a Samuel Giddy press where he forces the guy into a turnover, plays it right to, I believe it was Evander. Yeah, Evander, who turns and plays this beautiful ball to Ender on the run there on the width. I immediately texted you, no shade to DeAndre Yedlin, but we just didn't see that finishing touch from him, as an orange and blue player. So to see Ender get that in his first several, handful of appearances was pretty special from that right wing back spot. We needed that. His speed really is what kind of stood out in that first part of the match. But a pretty nice finish on it all in all.
Yeah, I think it all starts with Giddy and Brenner there, turning the Galaxy over and creating that chance to get it to Evander. Obviously, Evander is able to just pinpoint balls like no other, right? So he was going to find Ender no matter what. But that's back-to-back matches now for Ender with a goal contribution, as he had the assist in the game winner in the match prior.
Yeah, I think that's why you got the nod. Honestly, you came in, like we said on the last episode, off the bench, 5 minutes, like, show me what you got, kid. And he had the game-winning assist.
Delivered.
So it gave him the confidence in this one to come in and just to see the connection, between Evander to Ender this time and, not the other way around, I think, because that's what it was to end the game the last time. So I thought that was kind of a cool thing as well. And you could just see how pumped the guys were for Ender, to get that goal too. But you're 1-0 up on the road, loved that start for us. But then the Galaxy kind of felt their way back into the game in some ways. They had a shot by, I believe it was Gabriel Peck that hit off of the far post. Leroux was maybe going to get there if it didn't go, in a little bit. But all in all, again, got to be happy with the fact that it didn't go in. And Sam, we scored another goal, 22nd minute. We got Brenner with another goal for him, 2 straight matches, ends up with, 3 goals in 2 games. What'd you see in this play?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this was chef's kiss, right? I believe we tweeted, the chef emoji, but Kevin Denke with the hold up play, that's exactly what we've been looking, for him to do the past couple of games. And it's just seamless, right? Kevin Denke gives it back to Evander into space. And once again, Evander finding guys on a run, and Brenner's able to put, a kind of a sharp run through the defense there and finishes, like you said, for his second goal, in a row.
Yeah, that was unbelievable play. I think that's exactly what you want out of your front three. Obviously we're looking at them and saying on paper they look so good, but let's see what they can do. Denke with the hold up play like that. I think, the commentators all match were talking about how unbelievable his hold up play has been. So he turns the guy, he plays it, through Evander to space, which is underrated ball in all of this movement. And then just the understanding between Brenner and Evander to kind of know exactly where each other are going to be and the perfectly weighted pass through like that. Just unbelievable. I love with, if you think about Brenner and all of his goals, Sam, a lot of them are like balls through where he's running on to these and then just slotting it past the keeper one-on-one. I would say like he's one of the best we've ever had at that, running into space, and a guy that we've really kind of missed to stretch the back line. Like, several of our other forwards I've really, really wanted to see make these runs behind the back line, and we just hadn't seen it. So Brenner is very much welcome back to Cincinnati into this team, because honestly, we needed him to drop into space some to connect, and we needed to kind of push the back line. And you saw a lot more of that in this one. I'm sure we'll touch on that a little bit later on too. But you're feeling good. I mean, obviously 2-up on the road. This is a team that by all means you should beat as well, but you still got to play. You still got to go out and do it. And the Galaxy, credit to them. They showed why that they won last year, the cup. They have some fight in them. Obviously they're in very dead last in the MLS, on points, but you still have to respect the players that they have. If you look at Peck, you look at Painsil, with a one-man wrecking crew for both of them.
Yeah,
They
seriously.
almost single-handedly took apart some of our defense in some plays. So it just shows their quality. And 39th minute, just a little bit of space is all they needed.
Yeah, Miles kind of fell asleep on this one, and Painsel's able to net the close range header there. But I feel like, yeah, Miles was kind of taken back by the quickness of Painsel, that he was able to, get into that space, and the ball just came right to him and was kind of whipped in before Miles could even think about even putting a body on him. So yeah, obviously not something you want to see as you get towards the halftime there, but Galaxy didn't stop, man. I mean, they were dangerous right before half there with a couple other more chances, and so were we. I know we were talking about this one. Evander ripped one from outside the 18 that required a one-handed save from the keeper. So obviously going back and forth there, in the last minutes of the first half there. But Ryan, going into the second half, we have a game-changing moment.
Yeah, I was kind of, in a way shook by this, because I believe this player that gets the red card for the Galaxy, he was on a yellow, and he was given his second yellow for this. We've had a few games now where we've been up a man and haven't really been able to capitalize. So I was really curious to see, how our team would do in this moment. But you're right. In a lot of ways, you're up 2-1. You're on the road, like we said. In a game you should win. 2-0 is like the most dangerous score, but they lose a player, and you feel a little bit better about that. It comes off a play where I think the guy had a stud up on Ender, and it was the right call. But yeah, no, for us, we needed to then go and capitalize. And the response from that actually was a little bit better, Sam, from the Galaxy than it was from us.
Well, we just didn't finish, right? I think
True.
right out of the gate, we just began teeing off on the Galaxy a little bit. Great combos from Brenner and Evander. That was just offside. That would have been a sick goal.
Oh, the side volley one?
Yes. Yeah. And then Evander has kind of a point blank chance that he's not able to put away. All he's got to do is put it in one of the corners and you're up 3-1. In that same sequence, Brenner has a chance as well, just not able to get enough on it. So we had chances, a couple minutes right after that red card. But unfortunately, like you said, just not putting the game away. And, the next 15 minutes, it looked like FC Cincinnati was not up a man at all. It looked like it was just
sad.
Game on 11v11, but that changes. Yeah,
to talk about that, there's so much talk on this, and I think it is kind of key to talk about. When you're up a man like that, you have to move the ball quick. You have to, make these runs behind the back line. I think credit to LA for kind of being a little bit more compact and making us try to break them down. We just didn't see enough of that creativity. I think that's where there was a little bit lacking. Like in transition, we looked phenomenal. That's where we got 2 of our goals to start. But when we were forced to kind of go at them when they dropped back like that, they kind of sat there. But you're right, we had chances. We should have probably put at least one of those away.
Sure.
But I don't know what it is. In some moments, I feel like they get so happy, and I think Pat touched on this too. They get so happy that they have the ball in space, and there's all this room to go attack. And I'm not looking at Orishano, but I'm looking at Orishano, and it's just like, dude, you don't need to force it. Just let the play kind of develop, and you have that one-man advantage. Let that just happen. And we just didn't see that completely from them in that, stretch of time. Even the goal kind of comes in and not necessarily a moment where we're, in their back line or in their low block. It's a little bit higher out, and when there's space behind again. So that's where you really saw us excel. And I just hope that's not the trend, moving forward. So in some ways, I mean, would you agree? I was a little bit disappointed that, this seems to be the Pat Noonan ball way, if you want to call it, because there's been this stat that, how many games now where he hadn't, or our team, I should say, hadn't been able to score a goal while up a man. And finally, we did actually break that, though.
Yeah.
Brenner scores in the 88th minute. Another beautiful combination between him and Evander. Just have this unbelievable understanding.
Some Brazilian connection. I don't know. It's like they're from the same country or something. I don't.
Well, I mean, it was like out of nowhere. So, obviously Ender turns the ball. He's in midfield and then sees Brenner just making this run right off the back line, off the back shoulder. It's a play that I'd seen him do in 2022, I believe. Another one, I think, in his hat trick game against NYCFC, a breakthrough on his left foot. I almost felt like he took his touch a little bit out wide. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, a little bit.
But he slots it away. I mean, you can't be mad. He puts it into the side netting, and he's just so good at finishing in those moments. It's just unbelievable. And I'm, looking at his stats in this moment afterwards, like, all right, why did this guy not work well at Udinese and Serie A? Like, maybe he wasn't given a chance, but I think there's something to be said about the connection with the number 10 and really having another guy from his home country to connect with him and the understanding. And I mean, the dude was first with Lucho and had a great understanding, comes back, plays with Evander. Like, all the credit in the world to Brenner, and his mindset was great in this one, but the connection has just been unbelievable there.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. But once again, Pat Noonan ball, right? Like then we give up a goal
later
in the 90th minute, as we're kind of like, hey, we're gonna win by 2 goals. No way. Like, haven't seen this one in a while. And
I'm pretty sure you tweeted out like game over, and I was like so mad for a hot second. I was like, Sam's gonna ruin this. Like, he already put out there like, our 4th away win of the season and everything, and luckily they were able to pull it out. But you're right, we just don't know how to win by 2 goals, I guess.
No, yeah, don't know how to do it at all. But in this one, Galaxy put one away late. Orishano could have been closing out a little sooner, but honestly just a good goal. It was like, it was just a good move, good goal. Maybe Engel gets in the way a little bit better, but luckily, like Ryan said, we squeaked this one out west, and we remain undefeated against the West for this, what now, like a season and a half, like 6 games, 7 games, right?
So
7.
Last season we were 3-0, I think, out west.
So
at least playing out there, against
Yeah.
Western Conference teams at home, I think that might be different. But yeah, out there, I mean, that's pretty solid.
Yeah, back second in the East, second in Supporter Shield, after Philly behind by just 2 points. So, like I just said, FC Cincinnati have won 6 straight road away matches against the West, which is phenomenal. They became just the 2nd club in MLS history to win 18 or more games in 3 consecutive seasons. Once again, it's kind of that 55 point, streak that we had, last match. So once again,
can we pause for a second just to appreciate the fact that we play 34 regular season games and we're winning more than half of those
3 seasons in a row. Yeah.
3 seasons in a row. And the fact that like you can tie is an option as well, but to straight out, win those too. It's pretty unbelievable.
Well, and the changeover that you've seen, right? Like the past 2 seasons from their Supporter Shield season, how many people have left, right? And to keep the quality up and everything.
I mean, as much as you want to hate on some of what he's done, like, it gets results.
Yeah,
you can't complain about that. Like, I think, let's look at the other teams. Like, would you complain about the Bengals winning against the Vikings with Jake Browning? No, I mean, like, different personnel and obviously completely different situations. But yeah, I mean, to your point, like beginning of the season, we're like, look at all these new pieces. Like, is Evander going to work out? Is Denke going to work out? Is, Buka going to work well with Anunga because Obi's out? Like, and they just have found ways to get it done. So I wanted to pause you on that because I just felt like that was important to look at. I mean, 18 wins, in 3 straight seasons is unbelievable. But with that individual kind of play, Sam, on this one, Evander matched the club record with 3 assists on the evening, the 4th time that we've had a player in MLS history to do that. So Acosta and Vasquez had done it, and then Acosta, I think, has done it twice now, or before, I should say, not now. But Evander and Brenner get the nod for team of the match day. Evander technically in the 11, and then Brenner off the bench. So cool to see him back, getting that honor. I had tweeted this out. I thought it was very interesting. Evander's 11th team of the match day honor this season matches Lucho from 2023 during his MVP season. That's pretty special. I think he's up there, maybe second, maybe behind the other guy down south in the pink. But Yeah, man, 11 honors this season. I don't think he was a player of the month though. I think Lucho had 2 of those in his MVP season.
I think
But
Evander has one of them. I think at
oh,
least
did he
one,
in May? Maybe.
maybe. Yeah, May or
So I mean,
June
he's got to
when he
be up
got
there.
hot.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, no, cool to see the guys get recognized. He's firmly in that best 11. I mean, 100%. There's
Easy.
no doubt about it. But Ender, like we said, gets his first goal. That was huge. And then I do want to shout out Kenta because I think this one is really cool. FC Cincinnati's Yuya Kubo subbed in and played late on in the match. It's good to see him back. Like Sam said, let's see if he can stay healthy now. But LA Galaxy's Maya Yoshido and Miki Yamane both were in the match. So it's the first time that 3 Japanese international players with a minimum of 1 senior cap had shared the pitch in MLS play. That is pretty cool. Shout out
That's
to
a deep
Kenta
dive. That's a deep dive right there. We love
yeah,
it.
Kenta was definitely waiting for that one too.
Yeah.
He had it queued up and ready to go. But I love that. I think that's really cool to see. And I hope there's more of that in the future. Like maybe there's another, Yuya Kubo out there for us to find in the future. But yeah, some pretty cool stats that come out of this one. Obviously, it's fun to, go over these once we're winning for, 2 games in a row. But Sam, some big storylines come out of this one. We are firmly in the Supporter Shield race. For all those who listened a couple episodes ago, we were lying. Don't listen to us. We said we were out of it. We're in it. We're firmly in it. So Philly is up to, they have 60 points on the season. I'm going to kind of walk you guys through the standings right now in Supporter Shield and then who these teams are playing. And you maybe can let us know in the comments or even kind of on our Twitter page and what you think about our chances versus some of these teams now if we look at what it stacks up to be. So Sam and I will kind of alternate on them. But so like I said, Philly's up to 60 points. They play DC United, NYCFC, and Charlotte left. The Charlotte one being the last match, which is kind of huge for us. We sit at 58 points. But Sam, who's next?
Yeah, San Diego, they sit at 57. They've got San Jose and Houston and Portland left to play. So they'll be, just playing all West teams. They don't have any interleague play left. So we'll see kind of how that goes for them.
Sam, can I touch on the Corey Baird effect in San Diego?
Yeah, sure.
Should have been my card of the week. So for those who are familiar, Corey Baird got traded out to San Diego, his hometown. Good for him. I hope he's super happy. Thank you, Corey Baird. I love you because since he's been out in San Diego, they have, I believe, tied 2 matches and lost 1. So they have not won since Corey Baird has played for San Diego. And they have dropped significantly in Supporter Shield. So thank you, Corey Baird, for that kind of backwards help for us. But anyway, let's see if Sergio Santos in Houston can go disrupt them a little bit more. Vancouver is the next team. So we had Philly, us, San Diego, and then Vancouver. Vancouver sits at 55 points. They actually have 2 games in hand. So for those who aren't familiar, they have 2 more games to play than FC Cincinnati does to end the season. They play Portland, Seattle, San Jose, Orlando, and Dallas, which I think is a pretty hard stretch for Vancouver if we want to look at it. Sam, past that, the last 2 seem a little bit more bleak, but
yeah, the last 2 you got Minnesota at 54 points. They've got Colorado, Sporting KC, and LA Galaxy left. So we'll see if they're able to kind of gain some points there, but. Miami sitting at 52 points as well. They've got NYC, Toronto, Chicago, New England, Atlanta, Nashville, because I believe they have 3 games in hand still to make up on that end.
It's kind of wild. I mean, and the reason why is they were playing in Leagues Cup towards the final. And then I believe they were in Club World Cup, early on in the summer. So a lot of games that they have to make up. The kind of flip side of that is they have to make it up in the same amount of time that everyone else does. So they have matches from this point on Wednesday, Saturday, and 40-year-old legs. I don't think can hang with that. So I'm really hoping, NYCFC's up there. They've been on a tear. Let's get a good win, from them. Toronto, they're going to beat Toronto. Chicago will be a little bit tougher. They'll beat New England. They'll probably beat Atlanta, but Atlanta beat them last year in the playoffs. So we'll see. Nashville to end, I think, is very helpful for us. So if we look at decision day, I'm not going to get a little bit far ahead here, but I'm going to do it. Decision day, Sam. If we look at it, Charlotte and Philly are going to link up and play. That's going to be a big one. San Diego and Portland, another huge game. And then past that, I think Miami, Nashville could be the other one as well. So, I think it's going to come down to the wire, dude. It's going to come down to the last day.
Well, so I think if you see, FC Cincinnati win the Supporter Shield for the second time, just to save you guys some time, go back and listen to our podcasts in 2023. Quality may not be as good as it is now, but we had the same conversations, right? Like, is winning the Supporter Shield kind of a bigger accomplishment than MLS Cup? Because everywhere else in the world, the regular season champs are seen as the best, right?
Well, yeah. So does this tight race validate that Shield more, Sam?
I mean, I would think so, right? Because like you said, it's one of the tightest races we've seen in many years, right? Mm-hmm. Where, like you said, it could come down to decision day this year, which would be amazing. So yeah, absolutely. I think it would validate the Shield just a little bit more, obviously.
I just wanted to bring this one back up because there's a lot of talk when FC Cincinnati won, like, oh, well, we don't have a balanced schedule and like this and that. It's like we blew out teams, and we won it so early on that it didn't even really become a race. Well, now that it's a race and we see how close this has been, playing multiple competitions, teams that are playing, with games in hand and whatnot, like I really think that it validates it even more how difficult it's become to win the Shield. And I think that the league needs to talk about it as a bigger thing than what it is currently, because honestly, the coverage is not like it is about the Cup. So the Supporter Shield, again, for those who aren't familiar, like you win the regular season, like Sam said, everywhere around the world, that's it. That's all you get. So let's, if we want to be in that conversation with those other big leagues, let's make it a little bit of a bigger thing. And I think this race hopefully kind of makes that talk a little bit better. But Sam, another storyline that came out of this one, what was your thought?
Yeah, I mean, Evander and his legendary season, man. I mean, this guy has been on a tear, 17 goals, 13 assists now in MLS play, second most to Lucho's in his MVP season. He had 31 that season. And this is where the comparisons, they just continue. Right, they will continue as he continues to set records for us and in the MLS. Lucho had 35 in all 35 all comps, 44 games, and Evander 33 in 36. So,
is that more impressive? He's had 33 goal contributions
games.
So 36 games, and Lucho 35 and 44 right now.
I don't know.
I mean, it's been an insane year. I mean, and honestly, for him to come into the team, like we said, never playing with, any of these guys except for, Brenner, I guess, way back when now. But yeah, I think it's insane. Like, I really do. And like you said, the comparisons are going to be there no matter if they want it or not. But yeah, I think if we look at the MVP race, I'll touch on that a little bit later on, potentially, about kind of where this sits now in the conversation. But I would say that, we can roll into our trivia question, Sam, because I have a good one for you. And it kind of relates to some of the guys we had been touching on. I'm not going to go into that too much. But so trivia question of the week presented by Goals TV. What are the top 3 represented countries, so non-U.S., let's say, for most goals scored all time in FC Cincinnati history? This is going all the way back from the OG days too. So, and again, let us know if you guys know what the answer is to this. But Sam, what do you think?
Oh boy. I mean, the first 2 in my mind are going to be Argentina and Brazil. Those are my first 2. I think that should be 1, 2 probably. And then number 3, I'll probably go United States. Why not?
Non-US. So non-US.
You're right. That's on me. It's got to be European then, right? I'm trying to think of players. It's a great question.
European countries. What do I do? I know.
Yeah. Let's go England.
All right. So Sam, you want to lock in what the three top?
Argentina, Brazil, England.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. So stay tuned. End of the episode, we will give you guys the answer. We'll be right back. Hey everyone, just a quick message from Ryan and Sam here at the Flying Lion Podcast. We wanted to share some exciting news with you. The Flying Lion Podcast has officially partnered with Chatterbox Sports. We are very excited to be a part of the Chatterbox community, as they have proven to give you the very best coverage of Cincinnati sports thus far.
For those who are new to the Flying Lion Podcast, we cover FC Cincinnati news, game recaps, analysis, and unique segments such as our trivia question of the week, jersey swap of the week, card of the week. Give us a listen on our post-match shows on every away game on Chatterbox YouTube and our weekly episodes wherever you get your podcast. Thank you again for your support.
We are back. Thanks again for watching live. If you're watching live, if you're not watching live, then stay tuned, because next week you can watch live. And I think it's kind of fun and a different kind of way that we are presenting this podcast. I hope you guys like it. Give us your feedback on it too. If you don't like it, we can stop it. But I think it's been fun so far. I hope to see some comments out there for some of the questions we're posing, in the future. That would be cool to see. But yeah, jersey swap, Sam, on a winning week. Who'd you have?
Yeah, winning week. Obviously got to start off with the jersey swaps. And I think we're going to have very similar ones here, but mine's going to be Evander. This guy, once again, continues to be the MVP of not only FC Cincinnati, but maybe the entire league, right? And that is now 2 seasons in a row with 30 goal contributions in MLS play. Like we said, earns a spot in team of the match day. And then when he can create for FC Cincinnati early in the match, you see a big difference with the rhythm in this team and what they're able to create. So he is averaging a little over 1 goal contribution per 90. There's only one player better than him in the MLS, and he's down in Miami. But I hope Evander remains in the MVP conversation. He deserves it.
100%. I think it's him and Messi at this point. So I think Dreyer was there, but if we look at Supporter Shield, like if we go and win Supporter Shield, Evander is your MVP. Like there is no doubt about it. Like he's the best player for the best team during the season. So I really hope that we can do that for him, because he was so close last year. It just took a historic season, honestly, to beat him. But you're right. I think in this match, you see a little bit of a different Evander. Like he obviously hits a beautiful shot upper 90 and forces the keeper to make a good save, but you see him create. And that's what we had seen a little bit less of, versus in Portland, he had a lot of pieces around that he could distribute to. He was doing that, obviously with Denke and some of the other guys earlier on in the season, but 3 assists in a single game just shows, how much he can change the match just like that. And he was involved in every single one.
Goal,
I mean, what is his, I'm again asking for this, what is his plus minus, for those who aren't familiar, when he's on the field versus when he's off? Like it's a clear difference. He's got to be the most valuable player for sure.
Oh, without a doubt. While you give your jersey swap, I will look that up and we'll talk about it. But
is that even a stat for soccer though? I don't think it is.
Well, it is, because I touched on it a lot
right.
when we first began the pod, and then it really doesn't mean much, right? It's just a stat. So Ryan, who is your jersey swap of the week?
Yeah, I'm going with Brenner. Sam Brenner is back, and he's back in a big way. I'm so pumped for this guy because, number one, he's scoring goals. He's got 3 in 2 games. But number 2, he's just having fun with his bud, and that's all you could want as a soccer player. And I just think it's so awesome to see him happy, on this team with his other teammates. I think the maturity for him is what stands out the most, and I really think that him dropping back on defense and doing the little things is something that you didn't see a lot of, his last stint with FC Cincinnati. But for him to do all those things, it sets the example. I think that's exactly what Pat Noonan said, was like, if you look at the way that he plays, like nobody's going to take this guy off the pitch because he just wants to win at any cost, and he's doing whatever he can to do that. And that's what you want. I mean, what more could you ask for your striker and for such a big player? He's taking less money to be here. He's doing everything right. So shout out to Brenner. It's good to have you back, bud.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, when Chris was probably thinking about like, oh, okay, like if he wants to come back, yeah, we'll bring him back, and maybe he'll be able to contribute here or there. We'll throw him in the rotation a little bit, and hopefully, he does this. I'm gonna guess that nobody really expected him to just get off to this start, Ryan. He's been playing phenomenal, and this is what happens when you either loan in or transfer in a guy that's already like fit and already ready for the season ahead, right? Huge advantage in that case, right? If we're talking about the transfer window and how MLS can better utilize that, that's how MLS teams can better utilize the way the transfer window is built now. Get guys that have been in training and are already ready for their season if they play in Europe, like Brenner was, right? He was ready to go for August, right? So he's coming in and he's showing off.
Well, and that's a great point, because if you have heard, we've talked about it before, the MLS is considering changing their schedule to align better with Europe. So, in the future, you're not necessarily going to have that opportunity to pick someone, off the street per se, or from another club who's fit, because everyone's going to be on the same sort of cycle. But right now, you're right. While we have this mechanism and this availability to pick up a guy who, was training or getting prepared for his season, to have him come in and to integrate with a team that he's familiar with. I think that's huge. Obviously different personnel in a lot of ways in terms of players, but a lot of the same front office and different things like that around the club. So having Brenner back playing well is honestly been the best thing for hopefully this run. But Sam, I kind of wanted to point on too, with the fact that, we have so little games when we bring this guy in. I think I was, listening to Soccer Wise. If you guys haven't listened, go check out their podcast. It's pretty cool. It covers a lot of the MLS, but they do a lot on FC Cincinnati. They said, what would a successful stint for Brenner be, back in this short amount of time? And they said 4 goals. And, already in 3 matches, he's got 3. So I think that's pretty special already. And I think he could continue to do even more. From what I've seen, like he's going to. Like it's only just a matter of time, and the connection with Evander's there, like we touched on. So, I mean, it was an easy one this week for us. So no real surprises, with Evander and Brenner being our jersey swaps. But
so I've got the stats. All right.
So Sam, here we go.
The Evander plus minus stat, right? So Evander, how it kind of works. There's 3 different ones. There's plus minus, right? Just in goal differential, plus minus per 90, and then plus minus net per 90, right? So I'm kind of going off of the net per 90, which would be net goals per 90 minutes by the team while the player was on the pitch versus the allowed per 90 minutes by, when he was off the pitch, right? Almost a goal, like plus 0.93, almost a full goal per 90,
better,
like over what they've allowed.
That's I mean, that's just him.
Lionel Messi, same stat, plus 0.29.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
No way.
0.93 to 0.29.
Put it out there. I mean, that's
Who's more
that's
valuable when he's on the field?
That's the most valuable player for sure. That's the stat. That's it right there.
Done.
That's it. And, like the winning goal contributions thing too, obviously didn't have the goals, but he had the winning assists. Let's see over the season and kind of compare that as well. But yeah, thanks for looking that up. That's pretty cool. We should put that out there. But on the flip side, Sam, I'm really intrigued to hear what you got for your card of the week here from what you wrote down.
Yeah. So bear with me on this one. We're going to go through a journey here. All right. So my card of the week is people who don't give their exes a second chance. All right. So it's an interesting way to kind of present my card of the week, but I think there are more people that need to look at FC Cincinnati as the example of this. That you see a breakup with Brenner in 2023 wasn't the best for either side. we weren't sure we'd, ever see each other again. And it just takes one person to admit fault during the relationship to start to mend things. And boom, now we've got Brenner and FC Cincinnati. They're back together. They're thriving. So for those of you who don't believe in second chances, just take a look at what FC Cincinnati's doing.
Sam, that was very special.
Beautiful.
Didn't know where you were going with it at first. Not gonna lie. Maybe Sam is like,
there's always a full circle. It'll come back. I promise.
I mean, what would it look like for FC Cincinnati to bring back who else? What would the next person be that you would kind of consider? Is it Vasquez? Is
Lucho?
it Barrial? I think that would honestly be another shout. Obviously, he's on loan, but maybe let's say former players, not necessarily exes.
Well, I mean, at the time he was an ex,
Okay.
so you got to relate it to the people, Ryan.
Sam equates the players to relationship. I love it.
We're just trying to talk soccer with people,
Oh,
trying to get people to the game. You gotta relate it. But for you, your card of the week, what was yours?
Yeah, so my card of the week is going to be the timing of the October international break. For those who aren't familiar, so FC Cincinnati is going to have another international break here coming up. We just had one. We get another one here very soon, October 6th through the 14th, where these guys are going to be going and playing for their respective countries. Well, Sam, our last match falls shortly after that, just a few days after that. I honestly forget the exact date here, but I'm going to look it up real quick. It's only like 2 or 3 days after the fact, the 18th. So potentially we could be going into the last match to win Supporters Shield with guys coming back from their international breaks. Why? What are we doing?
We've touched on the last international break, right? It being in the middle of things. You're taking almost 2 weeks off in that instance, right? And as these teams are getting ready for the playoff push, and it's like, okay, all right, well, we're going to take a little bit of a break here. Hope you guys don't mind. Go back to international duty, and then we'll come back. We'll do the playoffs until December.
I think there's another international break during that too. November 10th through the 18th. There's another one.
In the middle of the playoffs.
But for me, it's just like, obviously they can't like control the timing of international. That's kind of selected by FIFA, but like build your schedule differently so that, hey, maybe if there's a tight race at the end of the season, guys don't get injured playing for their respective countries and then can't come back and play for the team that's fighting to win a trophy that they've played the whole season for.
Yeah.
I'm hopefully, not jinxing us or saying anything bad potentially that's about to happen. But I just don't understand, and I'm getting ahead of this one because I'm about to be frustrated here in a few weeks about it. It's not cool. I don't get it. Why are we from the standpoint from the club, Sam? Do you allow the players now to go if you're like, let's say FC Cincinnati is, if you win Supporters Shield. Do you let Kevin Denke go play for Togo?
I mean, not if it takes him, an extra couple of days to get back from Africa, right?
Like
so every
it's an
single
honor
time
for them to play for their country.
I think as a player, you got to look because they're still doing the World Cup qualifying.
It's tough, man. Right?
I don't think their teams are doing very well. So
okay, fair.
I think as a player, you got to look at that as well, especially a player like Denke who has caps already.
Right.
You got to look at that and go, man, I've got a chance to win hardware with FC Cincinnati. Why would I go injure myself? Or, because I've been through this process where I go to Africa and it takes such a long time for me to get back. Like, why would I?
I just don't want that to ruin. I was looking ahead, and I just don't want that to ruin
relationships or anything.
Well, that and our chances. That would just be terrible for that to kind of fall in that timeline and then for something to happen. So hopefully I'm not putting out into the world and then that's about to happen. But I just thought the timing was interesting. So as we move along, FC Cincinnati 2 had a sneakily good win at home against the New England Revolution 2. Sam, what'd you see in this matchup? It was back at home, but man, what a fight.
Yeah, I mean, I think coming into this one, last episode, we kind of just put them out to pasture, right? It was like, all right, FCC 2 is kind of done for the season. We'll we'll see how many points they get, right? Because they had 4 games as well. But hey, they pulled off a win against, I believe at the time, the Revolution were the 2nd in the East. Now they fell to 3rd. But yeah, they went down before half 1-0, and then they got some help from the first team and Gilberto Flores, who hasn't had a lot of minutes for the first team. So he gets a goal to level it up.
Interesting to you to see him play for the twos? I mean, he didn't even make the 18 for the first team.
Once again, this is a guy that is signed until I think 28, either 27 or 28 for us. So he's going to be around for a while. So you got to give him some confidence and some minutes wherever you can, right? Especially if he's not getting into, the 11 or the bench as well. Sure. But Ryan, we are the FC Cincinnati 2, then go up 2-1, and hometown native for me, Will Keisel. I think Keisel. Yeah. Will Keisel scores his first professional goal for FC Cincinnati 2 from Batesville, Indiana. Not too bad there. And then,
he was named to the team of the match day.
Yes, he was
the second, next pro.
Pretty solid there. And then Stefan Schrilla, he finishes off the match with his 6th goal of the season, the most on the squad. So yeah, they pull up the upset. And the Garys are now 6 points out of the last playoff spot with 3 matches left. Ryan, is it possible?
I think they could do it. Yeah. It's kind of funny looking at the first team players that had an impact that led to the win, Flores and Chirilla. If they keep those guys there, do they have a better shot? Probably. I don't know their remaining ones. I think they do have Heck is Plausible coming up, though, like you had mentioned. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. The next pro level is so confusing with personnel and whatnot. Like Sam just said, New England Revolution 2 was in 2nd place. And I went, what's their first team doing? Oh, wait, they fired Caleb Porter.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it tells you each level could be so vastly different. I mean, the crew are in last place. That needs to be covered more. They're always talked about as this big, organization with all these great young players. But last in the East and next pro, huh?
Not too good. So the other 2 matches FCC 2 plays, so they have Heck is Plausible next this week against the crew. And then they play New York Red Bulls. That'll be
Michael Bradley's team.
And they're first in the East right now. So that'll take another, kind of big win, big upset. But last match is against Orlando City, their B team, which they are just above us, just out of reach of the playoffs as well. So
been trying to stack similar opponents to what the first team is doing. Because we go and play New York there, so maybe everyone gets to kind of travel all together. I don't know how that works, but potentially. But yeah, it's a tough battle to kind of climb for them. But they could do it, I believe. Tyrone Marshall, the OG.
Yeah. We'll see if the young Garys can do it. But obviously, continue to follow them. Go to their soccer matches. They're free at NKU if you didn't know, so go support them whenever you can. But Ryan, match day 36 against Orlando City for FC Cincinnati back in June.
Big match.
FC Cincinnati won at Orlando 2-1, and recently this match was supposed to be on a Saturday. It was then flexed to Sunday, so I'm thinking it could be the marquee matchup for Apple TV. Might have some, people there of, value on the mic.
Sam, I'm pulling back the vibes from your bachelor party. Sam, for those who aren't familiar, we had Sam's bachelor party during the Orlando match back in June, I should say. We won 2-1. Like you said, we were all together. It was a blast. We won. Sam and I had a great time. Let's just do the same again on Sunday.
Same thing. Everybody's same people.
Let's just get everyone back. Do the same thing. But no, I'm pumped. The only thing that makes it kind of less fun is that it is on a Sunday. I really wish the rowdiness of the Saturday Bailey crowd was there. I mean, they're still going to be, killing it on Sunday, obviously, but it's a little bit different when it's a 7 p.m. game on a Sunday. It's a little bit tough, but Orlando, they've been on a little bit of a heater themselves. They've been doing pretty well. They sit pretty high up in the East. Everyone's kind of been shifting around there. But they've had some pretty solid results. And historically against Orlando, we've had a little bit of struggles at home. I think in the past couple seasons, even our Shield season, we did lose to them. So I'm hoping that we can find a good result against them. They had just come off of winning against Nashville 3-2. They did tie against DC before that, beat the Galaxy, lost to Inter Miami. So it's been a little bit up and down for a little streak there, though, that they were running solid. But yeah, I think we need a solid grouping from the guys. You're probably going to see it, hopefully. I'm just going to say hopefully here, a more normal starting lineup to what you'll see in the playoffs. From what I heard, at least from Pat Noonan, that Roman Celentano is going to be a question for this match. It sounds like Matt Miazga is going to be in a very similar situation. So if it comes down to if they can play or not, I just want them to be healthy enough that they can come in and contribute and not be, the thing that breaks the team. Because I feel pretty solid. There needs to be improvement. Would you agree that from the LA Galaxy game, if you want to go and play now Orlando, you got to be better defensively?
I think that's where it starts. Obviously, you see the Brazilian connection up top that we're able to do with the attack. Now, in that back line, there's got to be better communication. I think that starts on the wings. I think all season, Ryan, I think teams have been exploiting our wings and they've been going down either the left or the right side and kind of using that space to either, put low crosses in or go over the top, depending on, who's in the middle for us. But yeah, I think in this one, what does the back line look for you? Do you think Ender, gets the start again, or Marçuk, or?
Yeah, that's tough. I think it really comes down to matchups, like you said. And I really like how you touched on the wing backs with that too, because they looked at the Galaxy and they went for it. I mean, that's the trade-off. You get a lot more attack, but you lose a little bit in defense. So I think, honestly, I love Ender. I think late on in this match, though, he could really be kind of that spark off the bench that we need to get another win at home. So you add a little bit more defensively with Dom. And I look for Ender to probably come in with maybe 20 minutes left or 30 minutes left. I think personally, if Matt's healthy, obviously, that's what we need. We need Robinson. And then Engel, we need a healthy Engel. He is coming off, his hip pointer. Still looked a little banged up in the Galaxy game too. So hopefully he's healthy enough to go for this. But he solidified his spot. Orishano solidified. I think the right wing back, you're going to see a little bit of flips over the next couple weeks. And then with Miazga, that's the other thing. Sam, I'm going to ask you, midfield wise, Giddey or Anunga?
I'd say you probably go back to Anunga. Obviously Giddey played pretty decent, but you're still looking for the quality, right? And Anunga's been there, done that, right? Experienced. And so I think you go Anunga and Buka in the middle on this one.
I don't disagree. I love Giddey in this last match. We didn't touch on him at all. To slot into that starting role and to do what he did, I felt like it was pretty solid. He progressed the ball well. He led, the turnover that led to the first goal. But you're right. Experience is a huge thing. And in big transition moments against the Galaxy, there was some times where I felt like there was a little bit more gaps in the midfield that they could exploit. So against a more experienced, compact Orlando team with a really good Oscar Pareja manager, I really don't think that you're going to go with the young guy, but I've been wrong before. But yeah, no, I think Anunga is probably the right call. I think you're losing a little bit in the ball progression part of the game, obviously, but you have a solid top three that you can kind of make up for that. And Brenner and Evander been dropping deep, hopefully not in the same spaces like we talked about in prior episodes. But yeah, no, I think that it's more traditional with Anunga there next to Buka. Backline, again, just dependent on a little bit more injury status, but front line is solid. It's solidified, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think, Ryan, in this one, I'm going to go 2-1 prediction. Same score line as the away match against Orlando this season. What are you thinking?
I like the 2-1, but I'm going to go 1-0 because it only takes one, and apparently that's what we like to do. So I want more goals, but I don't want to get scored on that many times because, if we score 3, that probably means they're going to score 2. Let's just look at this team. So yeah, 1-0. It's going to be a late goal, probably from again, shocker, Evander or a Brenner goal. But I honestly really think it would be cool to see Orishano get that game winner and kind of build some confidence. He looks a little bit out of sorts in the last few matches and trying to, again, really find his footing in this team with the solidified top three. Like, he's not going back up top. He's got to stay on that wing back spot. But early on against the Galaxy, Sam, he put in some great crosses. He had some good contributions. I want to see him get involved, and I really think he could be the X factor. He's got to play a little bit better defense if we want to make a strong run, though. Both sides need to be relied upon, and you definitely know Orlando's going to be putting balls in the box. They typically play with 2 strikers, so our defense has got to be careful about that.
If you go 1-0, that would be Evan Loro's first clean sheet.
Yeah, if he plays, right? If he's there. That would be 3 matches in a row for him. I mean, what are your thoughts with Evan? I think I feel even more comfortable now that he's had a few matches.
Yeah, absolutely. And this will be the toughest test that he's had, right? Against an Orlando City team, like you said, that is experienced, and they've done it before to us, late in the season, like we saw last season. So hopefully everybody comes to play.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that puts a bow on Orlando City. Let's hope we get a win, at home. Past that, 2 games left in the regular season, at Red Bulls and then at home against Montreal. So, again, the time is now. If we want to go do this, you got to win. It almost feels like the Reds, Sam, in a lot of ways. Like, different scenarios. Obviously, we're still, we're in the playoffs, but we're fighting for, a trophy, and that's really exciting. So I'll roll into our trivia question, and then I'll give you the answer here. So trivia question again was, what are the top 3 represented countries, non-U.S., for most goals scored all time in FCC history? Sam locked in Argentina, number 1, Brazil, number 2, and then England was number 3 for Sam. Sam, you hit 2 out of 3. I hope everyone else did too, because I felt like that was a little bit of a softball. Argentina, number 1, 116 goals. Brazil, 61 goals. Denmark, 3rd, 22 goals. So pretty interesting to see the 22 spot there. I believe that was a Danny Koenig.
I was about to say, that's Danny Koenig then. Wow.
So, and Senegal with 21 right behind them there. Japan with 19, Togo with 15, Czech Republic with 13.
Would have been a good one. Yeah.
So, but yeah, Argentina, man, 116 total goals, between Acosta, Orishano, Barrial,
Santos, Brenner.
Well,
I'm talking Brazil as well.
Yeah. Santos, Brenner, Evander. I think that's probably covers Brazil, right? There's only been 3, yeah. So pretty interesting, I thought. But our Brazilian guys are bringing up that number in a big way.
Yeah, I mean they'll continue to add to it year after year, I'm sure. But that was tough. I mean, England, come on, Sam.
I don't think England's. I don't even see him on the top here, so sorry about that.
Should have known. Should have done my research, really.
Yep, that's all right. But thanks again for everyone who tuned in for our first live episode. We appreciate it. Hope to see you guys next week. Join us again, Chatterbox on YouTube. We're going to probably be doing another live and moving forward. Again, we'd love to hear your comments.
Let us know.
Let us know what you thought. And those who didn't listen live, that's fine too. Go listen to us for the rest of the week and for our match preview. But thanks again, and we'll see you next time.